It was only possible for me to get to 10% body fat after quitting these three things. I'm someone who's been overweight his entire life, desperately wishing that I could get lean, but constantly falling back into the cycles of failing again and again and again on my diet. I somehow find a way to always self-sabotage myself, even though I've wanted this goal more than anything. I would have done some crazy things for this goal. However, if I could show this video to my younger self, I would have achieved my dream physique months, if not years earlier. So in order to save you all that time, let's get straight into it. Now, the first thing that I had to quit in order to actually get shredded was not being all in. Now, if you're someone that knows my story, you'll know that I've grown up with an addictive personality, which means that I'm the person to have to constantly obsess over or think about something. Now, as you can tell, and I'll even put some pictures on screen, for most of my life, my addictions were junk food and video games. Like literally, even in class, as the teacher was like talking about the lesson and something, I would be obsessing in my mind. I would be thinking about how I can get better at video games, at like what team I could make on FIFA and how to get 14 wins in Foot Champs, or like how best I could get to Diamond on Rainbow Six Siege or like Rocket League. Literally like any competitive game, I would be constantly obsessing over and thinking about how to get better at it. And obviously the other one was junk food, as you can tell. I had no concept of what a diet was, and so I'd constantly order takeaway like Domino's, Pizza Hut, Subway, and I would order so much in one go so that I could keep a lot of it in the fridge so that over the next 2 or 3 days, when I got back from school, college or university, I could go into the fridge, microwave it and down like 2,000 calories in one go. Now, for basically my entire life, right, I've always said I wanted to lose weight, I want to be lean, I want to get that beach body look. But the thing is, my actions did not reflect that. Fitness was just never a priority for me. And for those of you with an addictive personality, know this is because whenever you have an obsession in your mind, it's almost like you can't really care or devote any mind space or like brain power to actually care about other things. So because most of my mind was taken over by video games and constantly eating junk and processed foods did not help me whatsoever. And so this left me no space to actually try to obsess or to actually get better at fitness, because at the start, whenever you're trying to do anything, it takes a lot of energy to actually get the ball rolling and to get momentum, especially into something like fitness, which I've never really been to as a kid. Like you see all those other people at like school or like university, and they've just been naturally fit and athletic their entire life. Like they've grown up playing sports, they're always active with their family, hiking and shit like that. But for me, bro, I was pretty much a shut-in, just playing video games and watching anime. So I can never relate with those types of people who've just been lean their entire life. So all that to say, before I got sidetracked, constantly obsessing over these two things did not give me any brain power to actually obsess or expend any energy towards fitness, which kept me looking like an obese little fat child, like a little goblin, constantly thinking about like what he can eat next and to how to fulfill his taste buds through like a bunch of dopamine spikes through food. And honestly, side note, I might make an entire video on this, but like being out of shape led me to just being socially anxious in public and like not even being able to hold eye contact in people, and just like believing that I was beneath everyone else just because of the way that my body looked. And so because I felt so shit about how my body looked, that actually caused me to go and eat more because I would feel better due to the dopamine spikes of these junk and processed foods. And so it's sort of like a never-ending cycle of feeling shit about yourself, but then eating more food to feel better about yourself. But then that leads to feeling even worse because you just get more and more out of shape. Now, I didn't actually break any of this cycle and I didn't make any progress until I made my addiction not video games and junk food, but rather fitness. And the only way that this happened for me was the day that I snapped, right? And I realized that I've had this goal of losing weight for literally my entire life. And the thing is, I didn't make a speck of progress towards it. That really, really pissed me off because I kept on seeing all of these transformation videos on Instagram and on YouTube of people that could actually do it. Videos like this where I showcase a transformation, right? I kept on watching videos like this and thought to myself like, bro, if they can fucking do it, then so can I. Why can't I? And so what really drove me was a sense of FOMO, fear of missing out, if you don't know. Basically, I thought to myself that 10 or 15 years down the line when I'm 35, I don't want to be stuck in some grey office, right, while it's raining outside, still with the man tits and a flabby stomach that I've always hated, still wishing to myself that, oh man, if only I was 20 years old again, if only I could get into shape when I had the time, the effort and the energy to actually do so. I still hate my body. I was so scared of like ending up on my deathbed without ever becoming lean, without ever achieving a lifelong goal that I really, really wanted to. Or just seeing what I look like lean. Like that sense of FOMO is what drove me so intensely towards this snapping point. And so when I did finally snap, it's like fitness became my top priority. When something becomes your new addiction or obsession, you stop caring about all the other vices that you were previously addicted to. So for me, when fitness became my priority, I stopped caring about playing video games for like 8 hours a day. And I really stopped caring about junk food because now I got my dopamine and my sense of progress, not through video games, but now rather through the pursuit of something greater, of something actually IRL, in real life, where I could see tangible results. Because yeah, sure bro, I could get diamond on Rainbow Six Siege, but then when I walk outside, who gives a fuck? I couldn't wear a hat that says, yeah bro, I'm fucking diamond 3 on Rainbow, so please give me more respect. Like, bro, that, like real life just doesn't work like that. But the thing is, I was dedicating myself towards a tangible goal that will improve literally everything in my life. I could walk outside, wear a t-shirt, and everyone would know that I'm in shape because of the work that I've put in towards this goal. Like everything about me, like my aura is kind of a cringe word to say, but the thing is my aura has changed because of the way that I carry myself, because I know that what I had to put myself through. I faced countless trials and tribulations on this journey and I still went forward and did it, which made me into the person I am today. Now, obviously we got sidetracked a lot by me yapping, but like that's the thing, bro. That's what being all in did to me. And I had to quit not being all in and or sort of half-assing my fitness journey for my entire life. Now that moves us on to point number 2, which is I had to quit my old identity. I would be lying through my teeth to you if I said that these two people are the same person. These two individuals that you see, they each have different convictions, different beliefs, different thoughts, different behaviors on a day-to-day basis that make up who they are. And so it was wholly foolish of me to think that my current self could actually get the results of someone who's already at the goal. That my current self, who hasn't changed anything about him, can actually achieve the results of someone who's had to put in the work. So instead of forcing the version of me that couldn't actually do it, I knew that I had to become someone new. I knew that I had to self-transcend into a new identity, into a version of myself that could actually achieve the goal. And the only way that I could do this was through embodying my future self on a day-to-day basis. Basically, what I did was that I mapped out every single thing about my future self. What behaviors would he have every single day? What thoughts would he think? How would he face the situations that were presented to my current self? Would he cheat with junk food? Would he skip his steps just because he doesn't feel like it? Would he not go to the gym? Would he be good on his diet for 4 days but then have an entire cheat day because he deserves it? When I thought about exactly who the person was, the future version of myself who was already at the goal that I wanted to achieve, what would he do in my situation? When I mapped all of those out, I actually had a goal or a standard to hold myself to every single day of the week. And so over time, the more and more I chose the actions of my future self, the more and more I transcended from this identity of the version of me who couldn't actually do it, the more I transcended into the version of me that I could. every single time that I chose a decision that my future self would, it was like I was putting in a vote into the ballot box of voting for like a new identity. And at the end of the day, whoever has the most votes wins. The more days that you vote for your future self, the more days that you become more and more like him. And the more progress that you will make on your journey, because you're actually becoming the person who is capable of achieving that goal. Now, this brings us to our final point. Now, these first 2 points have been heavily mindset based because I personally think that's the most important in a transformation journey. But the final point is more tactical, right? And I quit low-calorie diets. Boys, this is the number one mistake that I see with people that DM me on Instagram. I get messages like this all the time, like, oh bro, I'm eating 1,500 calories and I can't seem to lose weight and I've become skinny fat, blah, 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 blah. And it's because of these low-calorie diets, bro. Genuinely, like, the first time that I ever tried to lose weight and I actually kind of stuck to it for like a long enough time, I was eating 1,600 calories expecting to actually see results. This picture of me is at 68 kilograms, right? The same exact body weight as this picture of me. Like, that is genuinely unbelievable. 68 kilograms, 68 kilograms. Fucking mind-blowing, right? But the difference is that I was eating 2,200 to 2,400 calories here for the majority of this cut, whereas compared to I was eating 1,800 here for the majority of this cut. Like, if you're eating 1,800 to like 1,600 calories a day on your diet, how are you going to get stronger and actually retain muscle during a cut if you're on this low of calories? Like, you've heard this before, like, calories are a measurement of energy. If you're having like 600 less energy or less calories throughout the day, that's 600 less units of energy that can be used towards gym performance to actually build muscle throughout your cut. Because I'll tell you this right now, bro, the biggest difference between this picture and this picture, even though they're the same exact body weight, is genuinely just muscle mass. So therefore, muscle should be like your number one priority during a cutting phase, because that is going to make all the difference in the world at the end of your diet to when you actually look aesthetic or you just end up looking skinny fat. Like, strung out abs, flat muscles, basically no glycogen, all tapped out, and just not a look that you want to see after you've put in months of hard work eating fucking 1,600 calories. So that's basically the entire reasoning behind this high output model, is so that you can eat more calories so that you can get stronger and retain more muscle throughout your cut. Not to mention the hunger and cravings whilst you're on low calories. Now, bro, I consider myself a pretty committed person, right? Or a pretty disciplined person when I put my mind to something. And even for me at 1,600, bro, I tapped out. Even I was like, bro, this is too much. I can't physically keep going with this. And not to mention, you literally crave food. Like, you can smell food like through walls, and like, they'll get to you, man. They'll get to you. Or what about when you plateau in weight? So basically, this is what people come to me, right? Oh, I'm eating 1,800 calories. I've lost 4 or 5 kilograms, but I've plateaued. Bro, no shit. No shit you've plateaued, because you're eating 1,800 fucking calories and your NEAT is going to go down. Your TDEE is going to crash through the fucking floor. Of course you've plateaued. And how are you meant to get through that plateau? You're not going to be eating fucking 1,500, 1,400, 1,200 calories. That's a starving child calories, bro. So how do you fix this? How do you get your metabolism up to a good point so that you can actually start losing weight on higher calories? This is what I term the high output model of losing weight. Basically, what you're going to do, and this is exactly what I did, by the way, I did a 6-week maintenance / recomp period. So I'm fat here, right? I was detrained because I just wasn't going to the gym, right? I got fat on junk food and everything. So I had to go through a period of maintenance and a recomp, right? So what I did was that I was eating 2,600 calories, which was my maintenance, right? And I was training hard as fuck in the gym. That was my top priority for these 6 weeks. I didn't care about losing weight. I just wanted to recomp the best I could. And my weight pretty much stayed flat. Now, what this did was that this gave me such an incredible boost in strength in the gym. And I actually built a foundation of muscle. And it healed my metabolism from previously being on 1,600 calories. Now at this point, then I went through a phase of the aggressive cut, which is basically because I was already eating 2,600 calories, all I had to do was take away 200 calories and up my steps by 2.5k, and I started losing weight. Now here's the thing. Everyone tells you when you plateau, you take away an extra 200 calories and then you keep on losing weight. But the thing is, with the high output model, which is what I advocate for, your calorie deficit, the only way to lose weight, your calorie deficit comes from high output such as high steps and high cardio rather than constantly pulling away food. Now there will come a time where you pull away food, but the preferred levers at the start will be to exponentially increase cardio in order to create that deficit. So after my initial weight loss on minus 200 and plus 2,500 steps, every single time that I plateaued, I added either 5,000 daily steps or 20 minutes of cardio 5 times weekly. And so every single time one of those levers were pulled, I got back onto the weekly rate of weight loss. Now, as I alluded to before, there will come a time where we have to pull away calories. And that point is where I was doing literally so much physical activity per day. I was like, bro, yeah, I'm fucking tapped out. Please lower calories. Like, I'm killing myself with activity, but I'm also stuffing myself so much full of food that I'd at this point rather just take away food. And that point for me was 25,000 steps and an hour of cardio 5 times weekly. Now, the entire reason why we go this high in output is so that we can eat way more calories and most importantly carbs so that we can keep on increasing our strength in the gym and retaining muscle. Throughout this 24-week cut, right, I lost 15 kilograms, but the thing is I was getting stronger, yes, stronger throughout this cut for 90% of the time, except like the last 2 weeks of the diet. But that's because I was nearing very low body fat levels. So I was getting much stronger. And the entire reason for that was this high output allowed me to eat way more calories, more specifically carbs. And so when you're at the upper limit of your physical activity day to day, that is when every time that you plateau, that's when you can decrease 200 calories. And so just keep going until you hit your lower calorie ceiling. And then at that point, you've either reached your weight goal or you've reached way too low in calories and you can't really continue. Bang, you're done. You can start to reverse diet, and when you get back to your maintenance, you can either decide if you've got more weight to lose, go into a cutting phase again, or like me, I'm now in a lean bulking phase where my priority now is adding a bunch of muscle so that when I cut down next time, I'm going to look way better than this, which I'm fucking so excited for. But that's basically it for this video, boys. If you'd like one-to-one coaching, you can click the first link in the description below. And make sure to follow me on Instagram where I'm posting daily value every single day. It's fucking bangers out there, bro. But yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.